Good morning. Wee dog meets cows, calves. There has most definitely been some sort of oil spilt on the windscreen of the forklift. Not spilt, but sprayed up. I've given it a quick wipe, but it's just smudged in now, it's all blurry. I need some actual cleaner. Anyway, food waste, need to go and empty that. And we're gathering up all the chemical drums to recycle. So that is raw food waste. Out of the farm shop, we have a farm shop, CrawfordsFarm farm shop. We are allowed to put raw food waste into the dung heap. Or cooked food waste, we are not allowed to. I personally think it's a bit daft, but that's the rules. There's a lot of daft rules. So in that wee mini skip, there's oranges that have been squeezed for orange juice, so all of that. Potato peel, carrot peel, the stalks off of any veg, shells of, is it a shell that's on an onion? Skin? Not really skin. The outside of an onion that you don't eat. This might make a better viewing experience if the window wasn't. The spring's not quite strong enough to hold the latches on the back. Unless you just slowly feather it down, which I did not do. Right, slow and steady. Steady. Me and Dad have got an agronomy meeting this morning. So we have that once a month. We're with Scottish Agronomy. Once a month, the group meeting, we basically talk about what's coming up, what the crops are looking like, what disease the weather has caused, what the pressures are like, different chemicals, what to use, what rates, what's banned, and then various other bits and bobs. Box full of chemical containers. There'll probably be about, I don't know, 3 potato boxes full. Wait for it. Yep, not going anywhere. Hopefully these drums don't pick up the wind and go. I'll just trundle along the road slowly. If you're on the back road Thursday morning, 1st of June, and you see loads of chemical drums, please return them to CrawfordsFarm. Kev is just sorting out fertiliser bags. That trailer's full of fert bags. So he's going to take them in to get recycled, then fill a load with chemical drums separately. They wanted the bags and the drums separate. Some years they want them in the same load, some years they have to be separate. Anyway, we're off to agronomy meeting now. Agronomy meeting done. We're asking other guys there about liquid fert, because we don't do any liquid fert. There's quite a few guys there who do liquid fert, so we're asking all about pros and cons and what you need to know and don't need to know about liquid fert to see whether when we buy this new sprayer, we then swap to doing some liquid fert at the same time, tying all that in together. So if anyone's got any information about liquid fert, let me know down below. Learned quite a few things this morning. I went to a talk on No Fence. They're a company that make GPS collars that go on cattle, sheep, goats, and their GPS fencing systems. Here's a few slides on them. They're quite interesting. They work within a range of 7 meters to where you would want your fence, which you would set on your phone. They start off with an audio warning, which gradually increases in pitch until they then get a shock on the fence line. If you pause on the video on the slides, you'll get a chance to have a look at them a wee bit, but really quite interesting. The sheep and goats collars are about 0.5 kilo. The cattle collars are about 1.5 kilo. The vast majority of that weight is the battery. An issue I saw was, so the cattle collars will not last all through the winter with the battery. They've got a solar panel on them, but obviously it's pretty grey in Scotland especially. They'll maybe only last halfway through the winter, which you've then got to bring the cattle in if you're grazing them outside. Charge up the batteries. They've got an 8-hour charge cycle. The chargers are 65 quid each. Are you going to have a charger for every single collar? 65 quid times, call it 100 cows. You know, 6.5 grand on chargers. It'd be good if they came up with a charger that could do 10 in a block. But even 65 quid for a charger is quite expensive. I've just worked out the maths. If I had 100 cows, ballpark, you're speaking about 30 grand to set the whole thing up, with an annual fee of about £3,000 annually to keep your GPS going. Depending on how you're set up, it can be justifiable. But as for the functionality, I thought they were really good. They have a 7 meter block up to a fence line, so you GPS set that on your phone on the app, and you say, okay, I want my fence line there, bang, bang, bang. The cows, when they get to 7 meters, there's a small audio warning. That audio warning gradually gets louder and louder until they get a shock on the fence line. and you train them up. It takes them a few days to get used to the audio, and eventually they realise, I hear an audio, I turn around. £250 for a unit for cattle is justifiable in quite a few situations. Probably not necessarily for us, especially when we've just refenced a lot of ground. At the rye field, obviously it's based around Doddy, who's a rugby player. Gonna clean off all of these and we'll make like a wee target thing with scoreboard and stuff. Ordered some rugby balls. We'll get a wee chalkboard and there can be a scoreboard at it. Just a wee bit of something to do while you're doing the walk. Don't look very clean, do they? And this one's a bit stained and whatnot, but good enough. I've transferred all the grub that was on these and on a forklift onto me. Damn. I'm going to put those drums on the bales that are on this trailer. Dad's giving his most favourable toy a wash. Every so often I get a message asking if I know of any work going about. Well, I do at the moment. There is a job come up, cattle, sheep and tractor based work up north, Elgin, Inverness way, in about there. Accommodation on site, so email me there if you're interested and I'll pass you on to the farmer who's looking for someone. It's a full-time role, looking for someone long-term to settle in. There's accommodation on site, so get in touch if you're looking for something up that way. Pure radio with the tunes again. Anyway, got some old tyres actually that we can use as targets for the rugby balls. So I've got these wee blue drums, but they're really quite small. They're quite difficult. I've got these and I've got 2 big blue drums as well, so should be enough with 3 tyres, 2 big blue drums and maybe 3 smaller ones. Oh, I wasn't built to bend like that. Perfect. Baxter had a bit of a poorly night. He wandered into the farm shop yesterday evening and ate a whole Christmas cake. Quite lucky he's actually still here because it's full of raisins and raisins kill dogs. Off to the vet you go, big man. Come on then. And long story short, raisins can be pretty lethal, fatal to dogs actually. Kidney failure. Better get him round. Baxter! It only affects some dogs. They don't know why. They don't know why it affects them. Don't know what the issue is with raisins and grapes and Doug's. Damn Doug, why'd you eat the cake? Why'd you eat the cake? Silly mutt. You, 1 Christmas cake, £222.38. You mutt. You better be alright now. I've just had to give him some, I don't know, some black fluid down his gullet and his tongue's all black now. I don't know if it's just snake oil, but I had to give him half of this bottle. Apparently it binds all the toxins together in his stomach and punts them out the backside. I just sucked it up, paid the bill, and hopefully he'll not die. Flippin' Christmas cake. There's some colourful maps for you. Just waiting on the SQC guy coming. We've got an inspection, so they're coming out to look through all the paperwork and check things are right, check the chemical container. Dad's got these pH soil tests kicking about. So we get the field tested. A quad bike goes up and down and takes wee little samples of soil, tests the pH levels in those samples. And then when the lime spreader guys were in, they came and spread using this data. They plugged into the machine to spread at correct rates to even this up. The green bits, lower pHs, they got more lime than the red bits because the red bits are a higher pH. They're kind of 6.5 to 7, these deep red bits. And then the rest of the ground, the greener bits, are there at 5.8 to kind of 6. So they got more lime. The same with that field. Oh, it's heavy red up there. SQC inspection done. SQC is Scottish Quality Cereals. They're basically just assessing the farm. It's the equivalent of like Red Tractor down in England. They're assessing what's happening, what's going on, making sure everything's done by the book and there's no dodgy stuff happening. It's been another day of actually not doing anything, just seeing people. Anyway, what I'm seeing right now is those electric lines. There is a pole right there, another pole right there. They are coming down, so we're going to bury the power line because the new shed, central passage, lies right in line with that. And we don't need to take that pole down, but it's not that much more to take that one down and just clear this whole area of electric lines. Makes it a bit tidier, makes no issues with height. So we're going to take that one down too. So I've just been seeing the SSE guy. He just wanted to come out to site to see exactly what is happening. We've got a quote for it all. It's all going ahead. He's going to come back next week with a firm date. There's a winter barley field out there which we want to get cut first, so I've hopefully set the date beyond that. Maybe second week in August. It'll be cut before that, so if they make a date second week of August, should work out fine. And then because the shed's going to eat up quite a lot of the yard, we're going to edge out into the field a wee bit. Don't really want to, you lose nice productive land, but we're going to have no yard left here. We're probably going to eat out 6 metres into that field as a bit of yard. This sheep handling system's all getting flattened. We're going to renew the sprayer tank here. This is fairly old and the insides of it are all crumbling and pitted, and I'm going to scrap that. So we need a new sprayer tank. The water pressure on this yard is shocking. It comes up a tiny wee narrow pipe off the mains, but the pressure's rubbish by the time it gets up the hill as well. So we're going to put a lift tank in for the houses and then run the cattle off of the rubbish pressure. And then we're also thinking about changing to liquid fert for the sprayer, so we might have to put liquid fert tanks in. It's all kind of coming together. This edge of the new shed that's going up, which I'll be facing right now, big long shed, there'll be no tapering ground off of the shed. We're going to dig down and come flat, so we can put the sprayer tank net there, put an insulated hut there to run the water for the houses, and a pump and a tank in an insulated hut. The water lines that are going into the shed to fill up troughs, I want valves for that to sit below the level of the shed that I can open up on frosty days to back drain water out to clear the lines so they don't freeze up. So that'll be in the insulated hut as well. And we're obviously going to have the sprayer tank next to all that, which then makes sense to put liquid fert tanks next to that if we're doing it that way. I think what our best bet liquid fert wise is going to be getting a trailer with a fert tank on it, which we then cart about. So if we're going to go and spread liquid nitrogen one day, the night before, fill up a tank with a trailer, shift that trailer to whichever yard we're going to be spraying at, then get spraying the next day and pump out of the tank which is on the trailer. It saves us then buying 3 different tanks for 2, maybe even 3 yards. Otherwise we'd be running 5 miles from home out to yard 4, and there's quite a lot of ground out there. I don't know, yard 4 is 300 odd acres. Don't want to run 5 miles back, forward, back, forward, back, forward. So run a trailer once, do it, run the trailer back at night. Anyway, I'm just running the combine here, giving it a warm up, giving it a shugle. Sorry, I've been doing a lot of yapping recently, not a lot of actual action, but that's just the nature of the beast. That's what's been happening at the moment, yapping. Right, we'll get this out of the shed. It's been sitting in here for a wee while. It's needing a run. We'll go and race Ollie. I think we'll lose. I think this is only 30k this combine. I'll do a wee snap the fingers. In summertime there'll be a big new shed there. You can get a gist of the yard right now. We fill the sprayer out here. We've got a bit of space here for loading trailers. Fert store is that shed there. This is a machinery store which will all be filled with straw once we've got a cattle shed up. That's the very corner of the shed there. So gable edge will run up there, long square edge will run down here. We'll have an insulated hut here with a pump, a tank for running the houses on the farm. We'll have next to it a sprayer tank, which will run the sprayer obviously. Next to that probably we'll then have a couple of liquid fert tanks. That's the rough gist of it, and that'll give us a flat place to fill up the sprayer from. Although this gap here is going to get narrow, so that's why we're going to push the yard out there a fraction and make more of a yard space there. Whether it all comes to fruition this year, I'm not that sure, because we've not done anything about a sprayer, and obviously we'll be changing the width of the sprayer, so that's going to, when we can get that ordered, is going to dictate when we can do all of this, because we're going to have to change the tram line spacing in the fields, and that has to tie in when you start sowing crops. So it's all a bit of a kerfuffle. See if any mice come out that spout. None so far. Still works. I love that combine. It's awesome. Yeah, there you go, 30k. So we wouldn't keep up with all the... He'd smoke us. You might think it's quite manky, that's because it is. It gets a clean out in terms of grain and chaff, and a blow down when it goes into the shed after harvest. Don't put any water near it, just basically until a few days before we're cutting again, because water just promotes rust. Don't want to put a nice dry machine and then cover it in water, get water in all the nooks and crannies, and then shove it in the shed. So we don't clean it until a few days before harvest, because then it's moving, the temperature's warm, it dries out, it doesn't rust, lasts better. Anyway, that'll do it. She's been going for half an hour, AC's been on, I've ran all the belts and pulleys, nothing's gone ping bang, crash bang wallop. I should have done this a while ago. These tyres are in place, that one's solid-ish with baler twine. These barrels are in, those two are just sitting up there, they are brutally small targets. I could do with another big bin for the middle up the top there. I don't have one. I've got loads of these wee ones, but they are tiny. And I have sourced some rug balls. Thank you, Hendo. I have ordered some, but they're not arriving in time. First attempt, well, I'll go for the small barrel. Oh, not bad. You throw 5 balls, count your score up. I'll put a wee chalkboard out here. We have a daily, scoreboard.
Pardon?
That was after 9 months. Here's Grandpa showing me the ropes, 1999. Nice hat. Show me the front of it. Where can people buy them? Say it in the link below.
In the link below. Buy a hat, but Crawford doesn't have enough money to fix his Defender.
Links down below. Get a hat, get a bonnet. Should they buy a hat?
Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone, there's that wee plane. If anyone's got a plane with a spare seat, I'd love a wee lift up to have a look over the rack. What bird is that? It's looking for something to dive down onto. I don't know. It's amazing how it just sits and hovers. There it is, that's as close as I've been to it. What is it? Someone will know, come on. That's come out quite smart in the end. Last thing left to do to this thing is basically put a wee sign there that says honesty box or cash donations, whatever will make it. People just put their cash in the slots there, and the joiners built a wee tray that's got a lock on it so we can get that out. Cheers for watching, like the video. Hey Betty, should they like it? See you tomorrow.